All right, folks, all of us here, if we really want to be honest, we're here because a man and a woman got together and had sex. And it is a topic that folk, frankly, are deadly afraid to discuss. It's amazing how in the conversation you can have with people say, we're gonna talk about sex. We're gonna talk about sex. But we're gonna be quiet about it. My guest right now is Dr. Rachael. She's a sexologist. She is an actual doctor. And she makes it clear that sex is about science. How you doing, Doc? What's happening?
Good. What's going on, Roland?
All good, all good.
Fantastic. Listen, I don't know if you all know out there, this is Black owned. This is fabulous. This is what's up, you know?
Appreciate it.
We spend so much time on other people's networks and doing other people's things, and this right here, this is the holy grail. This what's up.
I appreciate it.
So thanks for having me.
Let's talk about that because, look, you've done radio. You were on The Doctors. You've been on many other shows. And everybody obviously is always focusing on, you know, these other different platforms or whatever. But when it comes to this issue, you actually said, you know what? Let me just take this thing to a whole next level. I mean, I can remember us meeting at Weber Grill in Chicago, State and Grand, right across from where I live.
That's right.
We're talking about, okay, what you were trying to do. And now it's morphed into something that's just much larger. When did you make that decision that, you know what? This thing is bigger than even what I think it is. So let's actually go there.
Let's go there. So, you know, first, thanks for taking me back there because, you know, you've always been very supportive. You've always given such good advice. You know, you've always just been a beacon of light as to what to do. And I think when we think about television, and I was on The Doctors for 4 seasons, and you were on CNN for a bunch of seasons. And,
6 years,
And when you got off CNN, I'm sure you had family members like, we miss you on CNN. When I got off The Doctors, they were like, we miss you on The Doctors. And I think as a people, we have to look past popular media and look for ways like what you're doing and what I'm doing, you know, it pales in comparison to what you're doing, sir, but to actually get the message to the people that needs to be there. And for me, sex and relationships really started in college. You know, I went to Freaknik one year, and I was at Vanderbilt, and my best friend was down at Spelman, and I got down there, and I said, well, damn. I said, if this is how things are rolling in our community, we're going to have a trouble with HIV, because at that time, it was kind of a gay man's thing. And so I was seeing people having sex in the car, in the street, on top of the car. I said, well, shit. So it opened up a whole new...
So this new documentary, you're like, I saw, you're like, I experienced it in real time.
Yes, for sure. And it was like sensory overload. I was like, okay, you know, I'm coming from Gary, Indiana, and I'm like, what in the world's happening? So I realized that sex was such a thing in our community that it was always going to be a thing. And so for me, it started with HIV and AIDS education. And then now being an adult and being married and having kids, it has morphed into this space where I see Black sexuality and Black sexual health and Black health in general assaulted on a daily basis. I mean, you know, we have hypertension, diabetes, we die during pregnancy, you know, we got this prostate thing going. And for me, it is about, and it has been for a really long time, is how can I package the information and get the information out there in a way that people can understand, but also so that it changes the way we're doing things, so that it makes us healthier, live happier lives, and to keep the sexual connection together between people.
Because we're living, I mean, the reality is we're living in a world where it's everywhere. I mean, it's on shows, it's in movies. The music is far more sexually charged today than it's ever been. And then there's this impression in people's minds that, oh my goodness, that sex is amazing, is wonderful, but the bottom line is, as you deal with it, there are people who are having significant issues with intimacy, with actually having sex, men and women.
For sure, for sure. And I think when we connect sexuality, I mean, you have to connect sex to everything, right? It's the reason you go out and get the new Jordans. It's the reason you get a haircut. You know, like the reason you look good is so much around sexual energy. And I think as a people, we're so afraid of sex and we're so afraid to talk about it that it becomes kind of like the elephant in the room. We're all doing it. We've all done it. We've all had it. We all had to have it to get here. So to take it and make it fun, make it entertaining, make it something that's not creating this weird energy has really been what it's about. And for me, I've been in this space, you know, I've done teens, I've done women, I've done men, and really what I've found is that men are you know, they're the leaders, they're supposed to be the leaders of the community, right? They're supposed to be the leaders of the household, right? And what I find is that when a man gets to the point where his erection isn't working anymore, it becomes a big thing for him. And it is a saddest thing to see a gentleman.
Meaning it affects
everything.
It affects him mentally. It affects in terms of how his partner sees him.
How he sees himself in the world. How he presents himself. So for me, realizing that I love black men, you know, they're an extension of me. They're a part of me, my dad, my brothers, and things like that. And so watching and seeing stuff like that happen in your own family makes you be like, oh, shit. You know, let me get on it. And really, honestly, my dad's, he was a physician too. And kind of towards his last few years of life, you know, he just became honest with me about some of the stuff that he'd been going through with his prostate, with his erections, talking to my mom. And I said, listen, if I can prevent anybody else from going through all this shit, that is exactly what my mission has been. And so in the media space, I've been kind of all over the place, but now I have drilled down into men's health because when your erection goes south, I feel like it's kind of like an SOS signal. It is letting you know that something else is going on, and what we need to do is fix the underlying cause so that the erections can stand tall.
And so here's what was interesting. We were talking one day, and you said that, which I was actually surprised by. You said that when you've had these counseling sessions, you've gotten more resistance from the women and not the men.
For sure.
Now, I was surprised by that because, again, the assumptions that we always hear is that, oh, no, men, look, they don't want any advice. They know what they're doing. They don't want to listen to anybody. You know, it's all about ego. Yeah. But you said, no, it's the women who gave you the most pushback, and the dudes were like, yo,
definitely.
Let's figure this thing out.
Definitely. From my family practice in Gary, Indiana, to practicing in LA, to practicing in the prison system, men are much more, you know, and maybe it's because women are taking care of so many people. They're taking care of the husband, they're taking care of their kids, so they're really not as invested in themselves as men are. But men, when you tell them, listen, it's not going to work anymore if we don't fix this. If you don't get your sugar under control, you are going to have trouble with your erections. When you guide gentlemen in the direction to heal and to get better and to feel better and look better, they are really all about it. So for me, it became about, wow, I'm leading guys and changing lives. And so for me as a physician, that was really important. I'm like, well, listen, I can sit with the ladies and we can laugh and gossip, but they're not doing it. When I talk to the guys, they make the changes, they make the shifts, and, you know, we see some results. And then I also found with women, particularly in the space of sexual health, some women are going to be mad at me for this, but we get married and then have the kids and really kind of sink in this place of like, well, you know, I could live without it or I could live with it.
So basically move into this just area of contentment.
Yeah.
That, you know what?
Yeah.
Fine if it happens, not if it doesn't. And then you have men who are like, hold up, this sex every 2-3 weeks, once a month stuff, this ain't how it's rolling.
That's
and
right.
So now you got friction.
That's right. And then you're in a tough space because they're married. And it's not fair because you guys did make a commitment to each other. Listen, we're supposed to be here. We're supposed to have sex. This is death to a part. So you mean we're gonna die? Here we are. We're only 55. Does this mean that I'm only gonna have sex twice a year for the rest of my life?
I mean, as the old phrase going, you better keep doing what you did to get them. So when you confront that,
yeah.
I mean, and are you seeing that a lot?
Oh, I see that all the time. I see that all the time in our community, unfortunately. I don't see it as much in other communities because it becomes kind of an agreement and a negotiation in other communities. In our community, I think our mothers, watching my mom, watching my aunts have kind of led us to this place where we think that, once you got the kids and all that, that's a thing of the past. And so it becomes difficult for me as a sexologist and as a physician to, when couples come or when women come, particularly African-American women, when they say they want to get their sex drive back up, a lot of times that's not true. A lot of times it's just to make the partner happy. To say, okay, well, I'm trying. I'm going to get the tests. I'm trying to do these things. But it has to be, a joint effort because it's really not fair. Here it is, I'm helping the guy get his erection stronger, and he's got a Maserati in the car and no keys because he can't try it out. So it's tough, Like,
and if he can't test drive at home, he's going to test drive somewhere.
He's going to test drive somewhere. That's my point. With Facebook and everything, it's just so easy to meet people online and here and there. And then I find that there's so much, okay, so he said, listen, honey, we really don't have sex much. It really makes me feel terrible.
Right.
I feel really attractive. People look at me when I'm at the grocery store. Women flirt.
And he's trying to avoid a confrontation.
Yeah.
So he's trying to do it in a way of not to cause drama.
Yes. And 8 times out of 10, she just doesn't hear it. And so it creates a bad situation. So I have guys come to me, well, Dr. Rachael, what should I do? I'm like, well, I can't tell you to leave somebody.
But does this also then happen? Because for that man who says that, he may not have any issues in the bed, but now it becomes a psychological thing.
Sure.
And so now, when it does happen, he may not be able to perform because, hell, it's been 3 weeks.
That's right. 3 months, 3 years.
Right.
You're right. You're absolutely right. There's so many layers to it. And so back up. I don't want to be so hard on the ladies because, gentlemen, started out going on dates, doing a little romance, and maybe have stopped or fallen off a little bit. But what I will say is that when you make that commitment to somebody that this is for a lifetime, that you really do have to listen to them when they come to you and say, listen, I need sex, because they're not saying I need sex because, I'm just a freak. They're saying I need sex because I need to feel attractive.
Right.
I need to feel intimacy. I need to feel like you care about me and you find me attractive, because if not, then it reflects on how I see myself and how I have to perform when I go into corporate America or go into the job and everybody's treating me like shit there.
You said something that cracked me. I saw one of your videos. It was on YouTube and Instagram, and I hollered laughing. I think I texted you on it. And you said, listen, your body parts as a man or a woman, they are the same if you don't use your arm. Your arm will atrophy.
Yes.
Your arm will stop working if you don't use your arm.
That's right.
You said men and women, same thing for your sexual organs.
Same
and
thing.
The comments were hilarious because people were shocked by that because they never ever put those two together.
Yeah. No, it's true. And so, that old saying, if you don't use it, you will lose it, it's really the same. So there has to be blood flow and there has to be engorgement in both female genitalia and male genitalia.
Okay, so now you get into the science.
Yes.
Now you get into the science of it.
Yes.
And that's the other thing. Unlike, there's a bunch of people out there who are doing videos and stuff, but your deal is, you're not trying to be, this ain't no voyeuristic stuff. You're trying to walk people through the science of the human body.
That's right.
This is what arouses a woman.
Yes.
This is what arouses a man. And these are the things that actually can inhibit that from happening. That's when you talk about high cholesterol, things along those lines. Go ahead.
Yes, because the same blood vessels that have to go to our genitalia actually go to our heart, go to our kidneys, go to our eyes. So if you're in a health compromised situation, it makes sense then that you start to lose your erection. You start to, as women, you start to not get as lubricated. You start to not feel or want sex. So sex, when your sex drive kind of plummets or things aren't going well down there, it is a sign that something else needs to be looked at. So when we think about engorgement and blood flow to these areas, as a gentleman, when you're in your prime, you go to sleep, at night, your erection's exercising itself. It's having nocturnal erections, 4 or 5 a night. Right? And then as you start to age, what happens to those blood vessels is the blood vessels start to get diseased, and that's basic. Every 10 years, our blood vessels start to work a little less like they should, create less nitric oxide. And so at night, what happens is you start to get less of those nighttime erections. And so what happens is, because the penile tissue isn't getting all that blood flow, it actually starts to get what we call fibrosis. It actually starts to stiffen up. So the key in exercising your genitalia is that if you exercise, even through self-play with women or self-play with gentlemen, what you're actually doing is you're encouraging blood flow to some area that you're just sitting on all damn day.
So
right?
if it's not being used, it's not getting blood flow. And so your deal is, no, it actually needs to get blood flow. I mean, the reason I understand, look, I play golf.
Yes.
And when I warm up playing golf, I have one of the high-priced massagers, and I also have stretch bands.
Yes.
And so I was warming up, and the guy was like, "Man, what are you doing?" I said, "One, I'm getting blood flow to my shoulders." So I said, I can't, in order for me to have proper rotation playing golf, I said, I need to get blood flow to my shoulders. When I'm stretching my hip flexors, I'm trying to get blood flow there, and I'm actually warming the areas up. So then when that happens is now I'm loose, and so now I'm not it's not stiff when I'm playing. And they were like, okay. And I said, that's what you do when you warm up.
That's right.
So that's literally what you're saying is, look, if the absence of blood flow,
yes,
you're gonna have trouble playing golf. You're gonna have trouble in the bedroom.
That's right. That's right. And then what happens too is we don't understand the aging process. We don't, when you're a kid, someone can just brush up against you, and as a gentleman, you get one, right? And ladies, you can be dancing with someone and just a little pressure down there, you're like, ah. But as time goes by for everybody, it just takes a little more. So oftentimes, too, guys will think they have an erection issue, and really what they have is you guys are together, and you used to be just wham, bam, good night. Now we need a little bit more foreplay, and you need both people involved.
So when you go outside to start your car engine, it takes a little longer to warm your car engine up.
It does. It does.
But when it's a new car, crank
off,
you can take off.
That's right. That's right. And so the goal then is to prevent people from needing to get a new car every time they want to get turned on. Instead, we want to make it so that they can get turned on with their same old car.
So there was something, and this is so hilarious. So after seeing your video, every time I look at mouthwash on my counter,
oh yes,
I think of you every time.
Oh, good.
And it was a trip. I had never heard somebody say, don't use mouthwash because it impacts nitric oxide.
Yes.
Explain that.
So perfect. I'm so glad you brought this up. So we have two ways we produce nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is what we need to expand blood vessels. Listen, I can take someone off of mouthwash and actually lower their blood pressure. So let me talk to you about how important nitric oxide is. So nitric oxide is something that's created in our blood vessels that helps us relax the blood vessels so blood flow can flow through it, right? When blood vessels are tight like that, blood pressure is up and blood flow is down. So what happens with mouthwash wipes out one of our body's ways of producing nitric oxide. Because if you notice, as I said, as we age, our ability to produce nitric oxide in those blood vessels goes down. So we have one other way that we make nitric oxide that we can control, and that's through our diet. So that's taking nitrates in through our mouth, and then we need the bacteria in there to convert those nitrates in our diet to nitrites. Then we swallow it.
So the bacteria in our mouth
is a super important part of it. So if you
people are thinking, I'm just swiveling mouthwash and I want fresh breath.
Yes.
But you're saying you're killing the bacteria.
You are killing the bacteria.
And that bacteria in your mouth, now you ain't saying don't brush your teeth.
Right.
But what you're saying is that whatever the ingredients in mouthwash, that's killing the bacteria in your mouth, which now is impacting the nitric oxide that's in your body, which can impact your sexual health?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So there's a few things that we as a people do that is wiping out nitric oxide, and mouthwash is one of them, because the mouthwash sits in the back of the mouth, kills off that bacteria that is 100% necessary to convert the nitrate in our diet to nitrites to then go down and create more nitric oxide. And the cool thing about that pathway of making nitric oxide is that we can control it. You can put more nitrates in your diet. You can eat more spinach. You can eat more arugula. arugula. You can eat more celery, or you can take a nitrate-rich supplement. But all of that, we do need that bacteria in order to convert the diet into nitric oxide.
So you said they're nitric oxide supplements. We'll get to that in a second.
Yes.
But how do we increase our nitric oxide with different foods, and what foods does that?
Sure. So we got to be careful, because a lot of the foods that will increase nitric oxide, for those of people who have arthritis or kidney disease, they have something called oxalates in them. So that spinach is great. It's full of nitrates. It's full of magnesium, all the stuff we need to make healthy blood vessels. But the only thing about spinach is that it is high in oxalates. Mm-hmm. Something like arugula, something like celery, those are fantastic because they're nitrate rich and they don't have those oxalates in them that are going to interfere. Beets are really great for introducing nitrates into our diet.
Okay.
So for instance, I've written the smoothie recipe book, E-Function smoothie recipe books, and everybody's like, well, wait a minute. How are you curing hypertension? How are you helping everybody with their erections just with smoothies?
Right.
Well, because the smoothies are rich with nitrate-rich ingredients and magnesium. So magnesium and
you have
nitrate.
two books, right? You have two.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see this. All right. So first of all,
Yeah.
So first, let's do this here before I talk about the smoothies.
Yeah.
Okay. So you watch all of these commercials.
Yes.
And they got Cialis, Viagra, and you like go crazy with all of these pills.
Yeah.
Because you say, look, that's only gonna help you for a little bit, then it's actually gonna cause you problems. Because you got side effects, things along those lines. And in all the commercials, they talk about ED, erectile dysfunction. And when we were talking, you said you purposely don't want to use that phrase.
That's
because when men hear it, it's a negative connotation. Mm-hmm. So you say you use E-function.
Exactly. Erectile function, not erectile dysfunction. I don't talk about ED because it's not a dysfunction. This is a natural process. You're going to have great days with your erection. Some days you're not going to have really great days. But what we want to do is increase blood flow, heal blood vessels, support your prostate so that you can do what your body naturally does. And so those commercials drive me bananas because I'll tell you, the main reason I got into this natural space with erectile health is because in our clinic in Gary, Indiana, my mom and I, we used to hand out Viagra and Cialis. We would keep drawers full of it, closets. Some people watching right now is like, I remember that. Dr. Rachael used to always give me the samples. And so I'm thinking I'm helping brothers out. You know, they don't have to pay for this stuff. But those same guys that we were, they come in every week getting the samples, they would come in. They were having strokes. We went from the Cadillac, headed out to Vegas, to stroke. I'm in a wheelchair. And I'm telling you, this was happening time and time again. And so my mom and I sat down one day. I was like, gee, have you noticed that a lot of our patients, the guys that, are just so sharp and clean, like my favorite guys, they're having these strokes. She's like, yeah. She's like, I think it's that medication. Moms are, I think it's that medication. And so behind diseased blood vessels to the erection are diseased blood vessels to the heart, to the kidneys, and to everything else. So I'm not saying that the medication is causing that, because that could get me arrested and targeted and all other things. But I am saying that we do not need to rely on those medications. What you have to do is fix the root cause.
Right.
They have you log in, you see a doctor, and 15 minutes later, they're shipping you some of that stuff. It's chewable, it's in honey, it's this, it's that, it's killing us, and we need to get off of it. And so my thing is, I want to teach guys how to fix the problem, support the prostate, fix the problem, so that you don't have to rely on those things. All
right, y'all. So I'm about to. So I'm just letting y'all know right now. So if y'all got some kids in the room, y'all don't want the kids to hear some of this stuff. Y'all just might want to go ahead and tell the kids, I need y'all to leave the room right now. So in your smoothies, in your E-function smoothie recipes, we've got the morning wood smoothie. Okay, those ingredients are a quarter cup blueberries fresh, have 1 to 2 cups of kale, collard greens, or spinach chopped and frozen, a quarter cup fresh beets chopped, a half a cup of ice, 1 cup of almond milk or coconut water, fresh squeezed orange juice if non-diabetic, 4 to 6 macadamia nuts, a quarter of a lemon squeeze. So then we go to the black of the berry stiffness smoothie.
Well, and let me just say, too, that all the ingredients in the smoothie recipes are clinically proven ingredients that help with support erectile function.
And
so people ask me
you're
all
putting
the time,
all of them together
yes,
in different combinations in different smoothies.
That's correct. And people ask me all the time, Doc, why are there no strawberries in there? Well, we don't see any clinical evidence that strawberries support erectile health.
Really? So I see in here
darker things.
Blueberries, raspberries.
Yes. Blackberries.
Blackberries. Okay.
Yes.
So you got the Glory smoothie.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We've got the Optimizer Libido smoothie.
That's right. That's right.
All right. The Ginger Vitality smoothie.
Yes.
Diabetic friendly.
Yes. 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 Yes.
All right. We have the Stand Up Tall smoothie.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Here. This is probably the most popular one in the book, because I see it was bookmarked here. It was the page. It was bookmarked. This is called the Dick Up smoothie.
The Dick Up smoothie. Listen, the Dick Up smoothie is the most popular.
So that's 2 cups watermelon, chopped and seed removed. If allergic, use peeled and sliced cucumber instead. Half of a beet scrubbed and chopped. A half frozen and sliced banana. Half cup ice. 4 to 8 basil leaves. A 1/4 cup raspberries, half of a lemon, 1 teaspoon ground organic chia seeds. If substituting cucumber for watermelon, add 1 or 2 teaspoons of honey. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Why is this one the most popular one?
Well, you know, it's probably the most popular one because I put it on YouTube and people have been using it.
You did a whole video. You called a video.
Yes, and they write their testimonials on there and they're like, damn, Doc, first day, you know. So honestly, that one is so popular because
you had people who literally have posted comments saying, yo.
We have thousands of testimonials around the world on how the smoothies have changed their erectile health.
Now when are you, now you're saying here, when are you supposed to do the smoothie? Once a day, twice a day?
You are actually supposed to use it as when you're breaking your fast in the morning, you're supposed to use it as your morning meal replacement.
So let's say if you're doing a protein shake or a green smoothie, what you're saying is when you get up, make this your first meal.
Yes.
First.
And I tell my guys, really, you know, I'm a fan of intermittent fasting.
Got it.
That's another conversation for another day. And so to push that first meal out as late as possible and to start the meal with one of the smoothie recipes.
All right. So, but do the smoothies only once a day or twice a day?
Yeah, they do it once a day. So you'll make one, and actually for some gentlemen it lasts for 2 meals. It might be the breakfast and the lunch.
Because with these ingredients, it fills up about 24 or 28 ounces.
It does.
Right.
So it ends up kind of being 2 servings.
So I try to tell y'all. So Doc I was like, all right, Doc, you tripping? All right. So okay. So she sent me the book, and I'm cracking up laughing at the smoothies, y'all, because you have the Green God smoothie, the Stiffening Stamina smoothie, the Daily Boost smoothie. We
got the Mandingo.
The Stimulating Power smoothie. We've got the Mandingo smoothie.
And see, these are perfect for you because you don't like vegetables.
The Power to Please smoothie. The Nitrate Knockout smoothie.
That one's super full of nitrates.
The Ever Ready smoothie.
Yes.
And then we have the Staying Power smoothie.
That's right.
And so you got all the citations here.
Yeah.
And so you spent this time literally looking at all the different combinations and say, okay, here's how we put together this right smoothie. And
trying them. So, you know, when you're practicing out in Los Angeles, you know, it's a different environment.
Right.
You know, smoothies and diets.
And the smoothies do work.
Yeah.
I'm just letting y'all know. Because I had to explain to Doc. She's like, this is 1 serving. I was like, Doc, this is not 1 serving. I'm like, this is a big ass serving. I'm like, this is like 28 ounces. I said, Doc, that's about 3 damn servings. But go ahead.
Well, you're a small eater. You know?
No, but I was like, big ass blended all together. I'm like, hold up, 10-inch, 12-ounce cup, 12-ounce cup. I'm like, this ain't one damn smoothie.
The best are the guys who are sharing it with their wives, and you know they're like, we both feel much better.
All right, so men and women can do these smoothies.
Oh, for sure. Because remember, the genitalia and the science in all of our bodies is pretty much the same. Just women have more estrogen, guys have more testosterone, what we're all supposed to, and that's the main difference. But actually, embryologically, you know, everybody starts out with the same genitalia. What happens in the womb is the mom mom gets more testosterone going, and the genitalia becomes a boy's genitalia.
Yeah,
so it's all the
but none of your
same,
titles are targeting women.
No,
though.
no.
You don't have.
Women don't want their stuff to work the same way guys.
You don't have the amazing JJ smoothie. You ain't got.
It's coming though. It's coming.
All right. So you did two books of smoothies.
Yeah. So no. That's the original one.
That's the original.
That's volume 2 actually, because what I did in volume 2 is I talk about the science behind why it works and why the ingredients are special, because honestly, you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm smoothied out, doc. I just want to know what I'm supposed to eat when I go out, or what should I buy at the grocery store. So it's really kind of designed to train you into what you should be eating to keep your erections healthy. And the best part about it is you keep your erection healthy, the rest of you's healthy too.
And again, for the people like I said, who like me, who hate vegetables.
Yes,
So this is a way. I remember when JJ Smith, when she did her green smoothie book, she came on, she was like, Roland, I said, baby, this is the only way I'm gonna eat all them vegetables. I can't stand kale, spinach, all this sort of stuff. I said, but fine, throw some pineapple and something else in that bad boy. Find the raspberries and the beet. I said, fine, we'll go ahead and mix it up. I said, but I can't eat them damn vegetables like that.
That's the best way.
So we were talking about nitric oxide, and then you were talking about how you do it naturally. But you also created your own line of products that's a part of your, what's your institute? What's the actual name of it?
So the Dr. Rachael Institute, and really, so the Dr. Rachael Institute kind of started in the space of training sexperts and sexologists. And now we've kind of evolved into the space of, educating people on sexual health, providing sexual health programs for gentlemen particularly, so that we can look at the root cause, help you come with a program and a strategy to kind of fix the root cause to get your erectile health back. And for brothers in general, like I said, I was on the airplane the other day yesterday coming out here, and I look and I see brothers, it's an hour and 15-minute flight, and 3 guys gets up, these are gentlemen over the age of 45, 3 of them got up rushing back to the bathroom. And it hurts because I know that's their prostate. I know it needs to be, addressed. And so, of course I can't be like, hey, I'm Dr. Rachael, and I think you have prostate issues, but I want to get the information out there, It hurts to see. So I actually wrote the Prostate Revolution, which I think that all men need to read, because it really talks about how the prostate is
Revolution,
central.
the underground guide to flow strong, curb the urge to go and sleep through the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, see, the prostate, and we don't talk about this either, the prostate sits at the base of the erection.
Right.
So as your prostate starts to grow and enlarge, it's stealing blood flow from your erection. And so it becomes one of the reasons why the erection after 45 starts to be like, well, what's happening? Well, yeah, we got blood flow, but we got the prostate enlarged. And so prostate symptoms are getting up in the middle of the night a bunch of times. So if you're getting up in the middle of the night, that's when testosterone is supposed to be produced. You're not sleeping through the night. You're not healing, your body isn't doing what it needs to do because you got to get up and pee a couple times. So that's a problem. Rushing to the bathroom.
So what's normal? If you what is it once in the middle of the night, or what's
technically, ideally, you should not wake up in the middle of the night to have to go pee, because listen, God wants you to sleep all the way through those REM cycles, because during the deepest state of REM, that's when your testosterone is being produced. So if you have to get up right before you get there, then you break the cycle.
Now,
you don't get a chance.
Now, does that also mean, watching how late we eat, how late we drink as well? So you're not, knocking out, 16, 18-ounce bottle of water, and you're going to bed in about 30 minutes.
Well, here's the thing. I think what we do is we dehydrate ourselves because we are not drinking water around trying to keep trying not to rush. So you'll see guys, they map out where the bathroom is. They're not drinking enough water during the day because they don't want to have to keep rushing.
Got it.
So at 5, they stop drinking water, and really all you're doing is dehydrating yourself because you're trying to support that lifestyle.
So now it's about midnight, 12:30, and you thirsty as all get out, and then you drink that 16.9-ounce bottle of water. You're going to get up and use the bathroom.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
And so technically, you really shouldn't have to get up until like 5 or 6 when it's time to get up.
Right.
So, my goal is I want you to get up when it's time, when you want to go.
Right.
When it's time to go. Like, let's get it on instead of because you have to go.
Got it.
And so really, that's the impetus behind the Prostate Plus formula,
Okay.
which is a formula designed to support healthy prostate flow. And it's different from a lot of supplements designed for prostate health because it also focuses on bladder health. It has a component called Urox in it, which is a botanical blend that's designed to kind of help take the inflammation and the sting out of the bladder. Because what happens is as that prostate is growing, it's pushing on the urethra and it's making pee sit in the bladder, which is why you have to keep rushing so much. And so what happens then is as that urine sits in the bladder, if you can imagine if you've ever, you know, when you're a kid, you pee on yourself and all of a sudden your leg is stinging, everything's stinging. So if pee sits too long in the bladder actually starts to get atonic or weak and inflamed. And so that is what propels you to have to keep rushing to the bathroom. I mean, guys are putting their uncles, their dads on it and writing me letters like, Doc, thank you so much for making this. And honestly, with supplements, it is against the law for me to have a supplement that works better than a medication. It's just, you're just not supposed to do it. They'll shut you down.
Which is crazy.
The FDA does not want you to be on vitamins, nothing like that. You have to be on a medication. So I have to be very careful about what I say. And, you know, I've got all these testimonials and they're like, let's put this out there, Dr. Rachel, let's put this on social media. I'm like, do not put that on there, because I do not want a target on my head. I've been there. So it's been this amazing journey, because watching my dad with the prostate thing, has become my thing. And so what I do is anyone who buys the supplement from me, you know, they get the Prostate Revolution free. All they have to do is ask for it.
So you got the prostate supplement, let me see that. And then if we had the prostate supplement,
I brought you this.
Your prostate supplement.
Yeah.
Then you have the nitric oxide.
Yes,
you have that.
Sure. So now the nitric oxide that I recommend is not formulated by me, but we have nitric oxide test strips, because the thing is, you use a test strip to test your saliva to kind of see where your nitrate levels are.
So on those strips there, you have light pink to almost white, which means you ain't got much nitric oxide in your body.
Your reserves aren't there.
And then you have, like, it's the color of your jacket.
Yes, it lights up there.
You got strong nitric oxide.
Absolutely. And
so
technically, after you eat a nitrate-rich meal or you drink a smoothie recipe, you should be able to test and be like, oh, I'm depleted. And then after your meal that's nitrate-rich, you should be able to test and be like, oh, okay, my nitrate levels are up. I'm making more nitric oxide.
Oh, and I think you said you typically 90 days or so in taking the nitric oxide pills. Because you're like, look, it ain't like, your point is, this ain't like you're popping Viagra.
Exactly.
It ain't like, oh, let me pop in two, I'm getting into bed. No, this is a regimen that you're building up.
No, that's right. And then keep in mind, there's a lot of things that we're doing on a daily basis that's depleting nitric oxide. The number one over-the-counter medication that people take every day, got a little heartburn, I'm gonna take some Prilosec, right? Protonix, what have you. That depletes nitric oxide. So there's so many medications, blood pressure medications, that are actually depleting our levels of nitric oxide, that once I got into the space where I started researching nitric oxide, I'm like, damn, our diuretics, you know, all of these things that traditionally are the first line things that we put our people on are depleting nitric oxide.
Wow.
So if you don't support your nitric oxide, then what happens is our blood vessels calcify, they become hardened, they're not delivering blood flow the way that they need to, and it's a whole thing. So even Aleve, ibuprofen, all of that actually depletes nitric oxide.
Wow.
So you have to be very mindful about the extra things that are happening when we take stuff that we just think is just one of them.
What are the other two books?
Yeah. Oh, the other one, From No Sex to Great Sex in 7 Days or Less. This is for my sexless couples who've just kind of gotten into the space of, we don't really have it much, and now that we haven't had it in a while, I don't even know where to start, right? So this is for them.
See that?
And this one's for our singles. Sexpert Secrets Playbook. Become a sex champ overnight.
Become a sex champ overnight.
Yes.
All right. So again, so then you do a video and you're talking about prostate massaging.
Yes.
And so I'm seeing your video, and then you were explaining it. So then you start talking. This is where I was like, I know you probably.
He turned off.
I'm like, you know, you freak some dudes out. They were like, what the hell? Because then you start talking about prostate massaging tools, and so I'm sure you got guys who are thinking, well, you don't come near me with that.
Sure.
Okay, so explain the science behind massaging the prostate and the role that it plays in sex.
Sure. So I want you to think about this too. Like when your back hurts, you got a knot in your back, you just like, damn, babe, can you come massage this for me? Can you just get this knot out?
That's why I get that massage.
Exactly.
It stays in my backpack. I travel, so if I'm on a flight from east to west, I'm not sitting on 5 hours. I'm like, no, we're gonna massage the calves, thighs, all over.
It is, yeah, so it doesn't tighten up. And in ancient Chinese cultures, prostate massage was really just part of it. As a matter of fact, physicians back in the day, that used to be what we would do. If a person came in, this was before my time, but if a guy came in and it was clear he had some prostate issues, the physician would actually go in and massage the prostate. And because the prostate is kind of a spongy material. So you've got ejaculate that goes through it, you've got toxins that go through it. And so the concept behind prostate massage is that this stuff is sitting there and it just sits there and bogs down the prostate. So one of the first times I tried prostate massage on a gentleman, so I'm reading these ancient Chinese texts and talking to some colleagues, and they're like, yeah, prostate massage, helps me keep people off medication. I'm like, well, wait, what? So I start experimenting with it, and so I have a patient who comes in. He had ED, he had an enlarged prostate, and so I'd gotten a prostate machine from China, right? Because it's a big thing there. They've got all types of devices. The doctors just use them. They actually have clinics. You can go in and get one. And so I get this device, and I'm like, today we're going to try prostate massage. I tell him the science behind it.
And was he like?
He was,
like,
but he was open to it.
Okay.
Right? This was California.
First of all, you already said he got ED, he got enlarged prostate.
He's open.
Multiple issues. He was like, all right, look, let's go. Hey, doc, work your magic. Do something. All right, cool. I trust you.
Definitely. He had a numbness. He couldn't feel anything. I was like,
oh, hell yeah. He was like, Doc, let it rip.
Listen, the next day, he sends me a text message. He's like, Doc, I haven't felt like this in years. And I said, God darn it, we're on to something with this. And with the science behind prostate massages, because so most guys, the brothers, do the external massage, right? So they don't want to actually go in and massage the prostate from inside. But where the prostate sits, posterior to it is the anus, the rectum, right? And so there's such a thin membrane between the prostate and where stool is stored. And we actually kind of think that because stool sits right behind the prostate, some of that is going through that thin membrane and actually getting to the prostate. That might be why we have so much prostate cancer, prostate inflammation. So that becomes the #1 way for you to get behind the prostate. But keep this in mind. The prostate, lateral on both sides of the prostate, we got the nerves that are going directly to the erection. So we got blood flow that has to go through and past the prostate. So if the prostate is enlarged and boggy, it is pressing on the nerves and the blood vessels that are actually supposed to be delivering nutrients and supply to our erection. So it makes sense that when your prostate starts to get enlarged like that, it's an issue. So when you're doing a prostate massage, whether it's a perineal massage, you can actually take a tennis ball, sit on a tennis ball while you're at your desk on a hard chair, not a soft chair like this, and just really kind of rotate back and forth on it. You're actually massaging the perineum, and in essence, you're actually massaging the prostate too.
Okay.
So there's ways to do the prostate externally. You can do the prostate massage, through your abdomen. You're just massaging the bladder, and if the prostate sits beneath the bladder, so you're getting it that way. You can do it internally. But my thing is this: your prostate is the air traffic control for erectile health. And your prostate sits there and collects so much throughout the years that what a prostate massage is actually doing is it's encouraging drainage and lymph flow through it. So it actually has, we have so many testimonials from guys who are just like, they didn't necessarily buy a massager from me. They tried it at home, and they're like, doctor, for the first time, I'm exploding like I used to, or I can actually get an erection again. So it actually helps both of those things, because if you don't realize that you have a pathway that goes through your prostate. That's your urethra. So, you know, urine has to travel through the prostate. But also what you have a pathway of are called ejaculatory ducts. So in order to have that explosion at the end, you know, when you're a kid, you go bling and it shoots everywhere. You know, as you start to age it, you might sludge or sometimes none comes out. So what happens too is that ductwork, like the pathways, actually as that prostate grows, it starts to collapse on them. So what you're actually doing when you're doing a prostate massage or you're supporting your prostate in a variety of ways is you're actually kind of massaging it, almost like getting the gunk through the years that's been caught there.
Wow.
You've seen it, it's on the sheets, you can't get it off, you know, so that same stuff is gunking up the prostate ducts. So yeah, so it's a whole thing.
This is a prostate massage.
Yeah, so this was one of our external ones. And so what you're actually doing is you're actually putting it on that area halfway between where your butthole is and where the testicles end. That's typically where your prostate lies. So you're basically kind of turning it on and you're sitting on it that way.
And that vibrates.
This one vibrates.
Gotcha.
Yes. And the cool thing about this, you know, and so this, I call the external prostate.
So this is not a spoon.
Yeah, this
is not a spoon. Just letting y'all know, that's not a spoon. That's not a vibrator. There's a prostate massager.
And well, the cool thing about the external ones is because you're not putting it inside of you,
right.
It actually can double as a sex toy, you know, because you keep it clean and nice, you know, you can actually use this because when you're in the throes of passion, as time goes by, listen, having a helping hand, having a way to kind of help both parties out is great because vibration is one of the #1 ways. So like, for instance, if we have a gentleman who is a paraplegic or is paralyzed, everyone's wondering, well, how does that person actually get someone pregnant? Well, there's a reflex there. And what we actually do, for instance, if he's trying to extract some semen,
right.
We'll actually use vibration at the corona or the head of the penis to kind of get things going in that direction. We actually, as a form for guys who are having trouble getting erections, you can actually use vibration at the head to, you just take the head and you kind of mash it on there to actually stimulate and bring an erection forth. This is really helpful for guys who don't want to do Viagra but are having a really hard time getting one. They can actually use vibration. They actually, you know, they make devices, they make sleeves that you can actually put on the corona, send the vibration frequency. It helps stimulate the nerves because as time goes by, in both men and women, there's a decrease in sensitivity. And so sometimes what you need is a rejuvenation of the nerves.
Right.
I'd say a lot of times, particularly with our diabetics and pre-diabetics, is that there's nerve damage down there. And so one of the things that the prostate massage does is kind of helps rejuvenate and regenerate nerve tissue too.
So, all right, so this is going to be the final one. You didn't bring it with you. This is going to be the final one. And the reason, so I'm seeing your video, you're talking about this here, and I'm cracking up laughing because anybody who watched the Austin Powers movies, when you've seen these movies where people have made fun of penis pumps.
Yes.
And so you see all the jokes. And so I'm sitting here watching, and you're like, no, I got my own line coming out. And you walk and you're explaining this, and again, and I keep telling y'all, listen, I've been talking to Doc for years, and how to do media stuff, whatever. And I was like, and I literally said, Doc,
like, please don't.
This really worked. Because what you see in popular culture, you see the jokes being made, and you were like, no, this actually works.
Yes.
Okay, so explain. So you hear people, you see people talk about penis pumps, okay?
Yes.
You say this works.
Oh, definitely.
How?
Definitely, and I think people have the idea that a penis pump is for you pump it up right before and then go have sex, right? But actually, what I speak about is using the pump as a regenerative strategy for the erectile tissue. Because remember, when you go to bed at night, your body's supposed to get about 5 erections. And once those stop, the tissue starts to atrophy, it starts to calcify, and you can't get those hard erections anymore.
And you also, because of the men that you've been treating, so the men who've had prostate cancer, who come from that, your deal is, you're basically, I mean, listening to you talk about the prostate stimulating, we talk about, you're really for lack of a better phrase, this is sex training.
Yeah.
This is like if you're working out.
For sure.
So when you're dealing with these guys, you're basically trying to get them back to where they were. And so all of these tools are frankly tools to help them rebuild.
Yes.
Rebuild their sexual body, rebuild their organs to be able to go back to life they sort of used to have.
Sure, and a lot of guys end up better than they were before. And even young guys are having trouble with ED right now. And then the problem happens is that if you're not getting those erections, if your erections don't get the exercise, now it's weak, and now you have to rebuild it. So if you're starting out and you're 30.
You call it shrinkage.
Oh, yes.
You said those things happen.
Yes.
Because again, if you don't use it.
Yes.
So when you with your clients, how are you coaching them when it comes to the pump? Because and then also even that. What are you talking about here?
Sure.
2-3 times a day, once a day, how many times a week?
Yeah.
Because what you're laying out between this and supplements, you're laying out a regimen.
Yes. I'm laying out a regimen. It's for people who really are invested in the process, who really want to get better, who really want to look up a year from now and be like, damn, I mean, I'm in better shape now than I was before. And really, honestly, if guys at home, if you go out and get a pump, and really start pumping, and for me, we have different protocols depending on what's happening. Particularly guys who have sickle cell shouldn't pump, gentlemen who have any bleeding disorders shouldn't pump, and really if you have a question, ask your doctor. Doctors usually don't care if you pump, they just want to give you some Viagra, right?
Right. And your deal is, I'm trying for you not to be on these medications.
For sure.
Because they have side effects.
Yeah, they do have side effects. They have, you can go permanently blind, you can have hearing issues, you can have, I get guys all the time, Doc, I have this really bad reflux every time I'm eating. Well, yeah, it's that Cialis you're taking every day. So they do carry side effects. So honestly, when it comes to the pump is about the exercise regimen that comes from it. And honestly, it can help reverse the shrinkage, and I don't care if you're buying a $30 pump off of Amazon or if you're getting a $120 pump or a $200 pump. They all really have scientific data that starts in the space of rehabilitation. They started using pumps on guys who had their prostate removed. And what they found is that if you pump immediately after the prostate is removed, of course, after about a week or two of healing, what they do is you don't lose the size and you won't lose your erectile function as often if you have a gentleman who's pumping afterwards. And my thing is, a lot of these doctors send guys home with the pump, but they don't tell them that. They don't make it easy to use. It becomes this thing, you just throw it in the back of your closet. So any guy who has any erectile issues or even really wants to just plump up, a pump is the best thing for it.
You have folks who they make jokes, they make fun, oh my God.
Yeah.
And they go through all of this, and I'm sure when you're on your YouTube channel, when you're doing your videos and your Instagram posts, you're seeing that.
Yeah.
But you also are seeing real life individuals who are hitting you up saying, Doc, you damn near saved my life.
Oh yeah, for sure. And those emails and those messages come in by the droves every day, and it helps keep me going because, like for instance, my friend Lee Daniels, he's like, Doc, why you got to talk about this stuff? Why you got to do it like that? There's so many other ways to do it, and I've always taken the lighter approach to things. I like cartoons. I like to make it fun, and I just really want to reach the people. Right. And
well, first you're not joking.
Like
but one, you're not joking.
Yeah.
See, this ain't a joke.
It's not a joke.
Like when you're sitting there, you're like, listen, I'm walking you through. I'm giving you the information because, frankly, look, I can sit here and see comments, in the chat room and folks are making jokes, whatever. But you're actually hearing from men who are scared to death, who are freaking out, and they are screaming for help. Definitely. So this is, folk can crack jokes all they want to, but this is real for a whole lot of people who have completely lost sexual drive, energy, and they don't know what to do.
For sure. I tell women all the time, I was like, imagine if you look in the mirror one day and all your hair had fallen out. You know, because we're really focused on our hair.
Right.
You know, our hair is our thing. I was like, that's how your guy feels when he wakes up and can't see his erection. I was like, so this is a whole thing. And what I find, too, is in our community, there's a lot, the guys will hide the treatment that they're going through because she just doesn't want to have anything to do with them. And then meanwhile, I'll get these other guys from other communities like, oh yeah, my wife's so supportive. She went out and bought me this today. And then in our community, someone's hiding in the closet doing it. Or she told me she wants nothing to do with it. And that hurts. I just wish we would support each other more and listen to each other and not necessarily put yourself in it. It's not about you, it's about him. And so I tell guys all the time, well, you know, when you're working on this part of your body, this is for you. Don't worry about her. This is for you. You get this sorted out, and then you figure out what's going to happen with y'all, because the future's not looking bright there.
I mean, it is interesting. I think it goes to what has always been the case, this fear in our community of not sharing information. Oh, we don't discuss those things.
Sure.
And folk have been walking around multi-generations having these issues. I mean, not even talking about, you know, not even talking about e-function, but just even when we don't talk about if we had breast cancer in our family. I remember talking to Deion Sanders when he had the surgery, and then his mama told him, oh yeah, your uncle had blood clots. He was like, why in the hell nobody said anything? He's like, I got a family history of blood clots. And so it's so many things that we don't talk about.
Yep.
And then there are problems. And so it's just, oh, don't say nothing. Yeah, but you got people who are 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years living with this, dying and passing away, and they never actually experience a great sex life or just a better life. All those years they suffered silently.
That's right. That's right. And it's 100% unnecessary. So if nothing else, I make videos and I make it a come one, come all type of conversation, because I want you to be able to have these conversations with your son, with your dad, with your uncle, with your wife, with your sister, so that we can kind of take an issue that is being swept under the rug and ignored and bring it out into the forefront. Because just like, you know, women suffer from fibroids, and that's an assault on our sexuality, the prostate issue that's permeating through the male community is interfering with our sexuality too. And if you know, I think at the end of the day, when we start and realize, you know, like, people don't want us here. You know, they don't like the most hated people in the world are black people, right? So when you think about it like that and you realize that there's an assault on sexual health in the community, just that alone should be a reason for you to start having these conversations with your kids, with your family, so that we can put plans in place to make sure that it doesn't happen to us. And the prostate revolution, I mean, it goes into why we're having so many issues with our prostate, what you can do naturally to kind of heal. Because I'm a functional medicine provider now, because Western medicine wasn't healing anybody. So now I focus on getting to the root cause, looking at the cellular level, and really trying to heal from within instead of just throwing a bunch of pills your way. So, yeah.
Where do folks go to get more info?
Head over to drrachaelinstitute.com. Go over to my YouTube channel.
D-R-R-A, gotta spell it.
D-R-R-A-C-H-A-E-L.
There you go.
Institute.com. Follow me on YouTube, Dr. Rachael, D-R-R-A-C-H-A-E-L. I'm trying to catch up with you with all these followers. Man, you guys should see the studio. Oh, wow. So, we're a few blocks from the White House.
Yep, just 2 blocks. Just 2 blocks.
2 blocks away. So, thanks for having me. This has been awesome.
I'm glad we finally had this conversation. And again, it's all, look, everything for us is about information. And what drives me crazy is that a lot of this stuff we're not discussing in our community. And if it is being discussed, it's not being discussed by people who look like us. That's
right.
So being able for us to say, no, there are black folks who are in this space, who are trying to help others, who are trying to improve their lives. So we're going to have fitness folks on. We're going to have dietitians on. We're going to have psychologists and folks on. So we talk about mind, body, spirit.
That's right.
This is a part of mind, body, spirit.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Doc, appreciate it.
All right, it's a pleasure.
All right, folks, that is it for us. We appreciate all of you who have joined us for today. Don't forget, go to drrachaelinstitute.com. That's Rachael, DRRACHAEL Institute.com for more information. And so, again, she got books, she got supplements, she got prostate massager, she got penis pump. Doc got all kind of stuff, but I know she got some new products. I know you got something new coming up.
Oh, well, you know, if use Roland as checkout, and you get 15%.
All right, so if y'all go to her institute, you type in ROLAND. Don't misspell it. It ain't Ronald. It's ROLAND. You get a 15% discount. And I can't wait to hear some of y'all seeing her email saying, I saw you on Roland's show. Ooh, Lord, my stuff is really working right now. Because I see some of y'all chatting, y'all talking a bunch of trash. But I know some of y'all going to be sitting her, hitting her website, getting some information. So don't sit and act like y'all not going to do that. So we see what's going on. All right, folks, that is it for us. We appreciate everybody checking us out. We, of course, had a fantastic week. I want to thank again Mercedes-Benz. I was at the Masters Wednesday and Thursday, and so I want to thank Erica Bolden, Monique, Lars, and the whole team there. It was great seeing everyone there. Tomorrow, I'm actually moderating a panel for the National Medical Association here in D.C. At their conference, talking about, of course, tobacco. And as soon as I get done with that, I'm hopping on a plane. Monday, y'all, I'm going to be broadcasting from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Darius Rucker has his Monday after the Masters golf tournament. And so I'm going down there to hang out with my homeboy, Darius Rucker. So we'll be from Myrtle Beach on Monday. And so hope you have a great weekend. Don't forget, support us in what we do. Look, the information you get here, ain't nobody else doing this here, y'all. They're not having this conversation. Ebony's not doing, Essence is not doing, not the Griot, not Blavity, not Black Enterprise, not Urban One, not Rolling Out. None of these folks. You're only getting it here on Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. And so join our Brina Funk fan club. You can see your check and money order. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Don't forget, you can also get our Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. You can also get, of course, check out Black Star Network app. We're on 4 fast channels. We are on, of course, Amazon News. You can go to Amazon Fire. You can check us out there. You can tell Alexa play news from the Black Star Network. You can also watch us on Plex TV, Amazon Freevee, Amazon Prime Video. And don't forget to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available at bookstores nationwide. That's it. I'll see y'all on Monday. Holla!
Martell.